The world thought it was over. June 25, 2009. The day Michael Jackson, the king of pop, was declared gone forever. Fans mourned, tributes poured in, and his legacy was sealed in stone. But what if the story we've been told for over a decade wasn't the whole truth? What if Michael never truly left? This week, a grainy video clip surfaced online. Shaky, filmed on a phone, but unmistakable. A man in a black fedora, head low, voice soft, yet eerily familiar. "I told you I'd come back when the time was right," he whispered. Within hours, it spread like wildfire. Fans are convinced Michael Jackson is alive. But the shock didn't end there. The whispers quickly twisted into something darker, pointing straight at one of the most powerful men in music today, JayZ. Insiders claim JayZ's empire is trembling, his secrets dangerously close to exposure. Connections between the two men, once thought to be casual industry ties, are now under the microscope. What did Michael know before he disappeared? Why is JayZ's name suddenly tied to the biggest comeback the world never saw coming? Fans are shocked, insiders are panicking, and emotions are running higher than ever. This isn't just a comeback story, it's a reckoning. And tonight, we're pulling the curtain back on everything. The whispers began quietly, almost like a joke traded in dimly lit fan forums and late-night conspiracy podcasts. People had always claimed to see Michael Jackson alive, in airports, in diners, walking through crowded streets disguised with scarves and sunglasses. But this time, the evidence was different. This time, the story hit harder, because it wasn't just a fan sighting. It was video. And in that video, the man wasn't hiding. He was speaking directly into the camera. At first, people brushed it off. Deepfake, they said. A lookalike. Maybe an impersonator chasing his 15 minutes. But then came the little details, the ones that made people stop scrolling and stare. The voice wasn't just similar. It carried that same delicate cadence, that almost trembling softness Michael had. The way he tilted his head, the way his gloved hand brushed against his cheek. These weren't things a random impersonator could mimic with such precision. They were mannerisms burned into the world's memory, instantly recognizable. Within days, the video spread beyond fan circles and into mainstream conversation. Hashtags exploded. News anchors hesitated before reading their teleprompters, and, suddenly, the impossible didn't feel so impossible. Could Michael Jackson really be alive? The shock was monumental, but behind the hysteria was a much darker question. If Michael had been hiding all these years, who helped him disappear? And more importantly, why now? Why return after more than a decade in the shadows? The first name dragged into the spotlight was JayZ. It seemed random at first, almost laughable. What would a rap mogul have to do with Michael Jackson's vanishing act? But as journalists dug deeper, strange connections began surfacing. Whispers of private meetings in the early 2000s. Rumors that Michael had confided in JayZ about being watched, manipulated, and used by the very industry he helped build. One insider claimed Michael once said, "They think they own me, but I know too much." It was a chilling phrase, the kind of thing you dismiss until a grainy video reopens a wound the world thought had healed. Then came the most damning detail. People close to JayZ revealed he had been uncharacteristically nervous. The past week, pulling back from appearances, canceling meetings without explanation. One staffer claimed to overhear him muttering, "If he's really back, I'm finished." The pieces didn't add up, yet the picture they painted was impossible to ignore. Michael's sudden re-emergence wasn't just about a comeback. It was about secrets. Secrets so dangerous that one of the most powerful men in entertainment was visibly shaken. The pressure mounted as fans began digging up old interviews. In one, Michael spoke cryptically about the music industry, calling it a conspiracy, a machine built on control. In another, he hinted at betrayals by people he once considered friends. Could JayZ have been one of those names hidden between the lines? It was in the reactions where the drama truly ignited. Fans were split. Some cried tears of joy at the possibility their idol had returned. Others demanded justice, furious they had mourned a man who might never have been gone. And then there were those who saw only the danger, warning that Michael's return would unleash chaos far bigger than music or celebrity. The Jackson family was no less shaken. Insiders claimed calls were flying between siblings, with Janet demanding answers and Jermaine privately admitting he had seen things in recent years that didn't make sense. The family was divided. Some ready to embrace the miracle. Others terrified of what truths might follow. And in the middle of it all, JayZ remained silent. His silence spoke louder than words. Industry insiders whispered that he had scrambled his legal team, while others speculated he was preparing a public statement. But nothing came. Not a word. And the longer he stayed quiet, the more people began to believe he had something to hide. A former associate of Michael, speaking anonymously, dropped a bombshell during a late-night interview. Michael trusted Jay. He trusted him with things he never told anyone else. But that trust was broken. And now, if Michael is really back, those broken promises are coming back too. The weight of those words settled like a storm cloud. Suddenly, this wasn't just about whether Michael Jackson was alive. It was about betrayal, power, and the kind of secrets that could shake the foundations of the music industry. And yet, as explosive as all of this was, there was something even stranger lurking behind the curtain. Because just as fans were celebrating Michael's return, and critics were dissecting JayZ's silence, new footage emerged. This time, it wasn't grainy. It wasn't shaky. It was clear, close, and undeniable. Michael Jackson, older, more worn, but unmistakably him, sitting in a dimly lit room. His voice was steady as he said, "They thought I was gone. But I've been here, watching, waiting. It's time people know the truth." Those words were enough to send the internet into meltdown. The clip ended before he could explain further, but the damage was done. The king of pop had spoken, and the world was listening. JayZ's name trended alongside Michael's within minutes. Memes flooded timelines, with captions like, "Michael's back" and "Jay's sweating." Others weren't laughing. They demanded investigations. They demanded confessions. They demanded answers. And in the chaos, something else surfaced. A document, unsigned, but dated from the year Michael supposedly passed. It contained a list of names, industry giants, producers, executives. And near the bottom, one name stood out: Sean Carter, better known as JayZ. Whether it was real or fake didn't matter anymore. Perception was reality, and perception had already painted JayZ as a man with secrets too heavy to carry. The atmosphere was electric, tense, like the moments before a storm finally breaks. Michael's return had flipped the script on everything. People thought they knew. And in the middle of it all, JayZ's empire began to tremble. But if people thought this was the climax, they were wrong. Because as more voices stepped forward, as more pieces of the puzzle fell into place, the story was about to twist in ways no one could have predicted. The days that followed felt less like news and more like a full-blown spectacle unraveling in real time. The video of Michael Jackson speaking directly to the camera played on a loop across every social platform, dissected frame by frame. Fans pointed out the faint lines of age on his face, the way his hair had thinned, and even the flicker of sadness in his eyes. But none of those details mattered as much as the words he'd spoken. "It's time people know the truth." Those 7 words became the rallying cry of millions. Hashtags flooded Twitter and Instagram, with people demanding answers about what truth Michael was hinting at. Some insisted it was about the music industry, a reckoning of the corruption and exploitation he had hinted at before his supposed death. Others believed it was something far more personal: betrayals at the hands of people he once trusted. the very people now scrambling to silence him. JayZ's silence was deafening. The rap mogul, usually quick to control his narrative, canceled appearances, postponed interviews, and even skipped a high-profile gala where he had been scheduled to speak. Insiders claimed he hadn't been seen outside his mansion in days. One anonymous source whispered, "He looks terrified, like a man waiting for the ground to fall out beneath him." And then came the whispers about the document. The list of names supposedly written by Michael himself before his disappearance. Bloggers, journalists, and YouTube investigators picked it apart, highlighting the connections between every name and the industry's darkest scandals. The fact that JayZ's name appeared near the bottom only fanned the flames. Fans started revisiting old clips of Michael and Jay together, searching for signs of tension. One resurfaced moment from the early 2000s showed Michael sitting stiffly beside Jay during a press event, his smile tight, his body language closed. At the time, nobody thought much of it. Now, it looked like evidence of betrayal hiding in plain sight. The Jackson family remained mostly quiet, but cracks began to show. Janet Jackson posted a cryptic message on social media. The truth always finds its way back. Fans went wild with speculation, convinced she was confirming her brother's survival. Jermaine, on the other hand, was spotted outside his home looking visibly shaken, telling a reporter, "I can't talk about this, not now." Behind the scenes, the entertainment industry was in panic mode. Executives who had once dismissed the conspiracy as laughable now scrambled to protect themselves. Producers and label heads feared what Michael might reveal if he truly returned. One insider put it bluntly, "If he starts naming names, careers will end overnight." The weight of those fears only grew when a second clip surfaced. This one was longer, clearer, filmed in what appeared to be the same dimly lit room. Michael leaned forward, his expression grim. "They betrayed me," he said quietly. "People I trusted, people I called friends. They thought they could bury me, but I never left." The internet exploded. Fans cried, influencers posted reaction videos, and even mainstream outlets admitted the footage was too convincing to ignore. But what caught everyone's attention wasn't just Michael's words. It was what he said next. "I trusted Jay. I told him things I never told anyone else, and he sold me out." The silence after that sentence was deafening. The video ended abruptly, but the message was clear. Michael Jackson had directly named JayZ as one of the people who betrayed him. Jay's empire trembled overnight. Blogs accused him of everything, from manipulating Michael's contracts to orchestrating his disappearance. Memes labeled him the man who broke the king of pop. Fans flooded his social media with demands for answers. In the middle of the chaos, Beyoncé's name was dragged into the storm. Tabloids speculated about her reaction, with some claiming she was furious at Jay for bringing heat on their family. A rumored insider said, "She's telling him to get ahead of this, to speak up, but he's frozen. He doesn't know what to say because he doesn't know what Michael has." The betrayal narrative deepened when old letters supposedly written by Michael were leaked to the press. In one he wrote, "I can't trust anyone. Even the ones who smile at me in public have knives behind their backs." Another said, "The industry wants me gone because I know too much, and some of my own friends are helping them." Whether the letters were authentic or fabricated didn't matter. The timing was perfect, and the world was already primed to believe. The more people read, the more they turned against JayZ's. Fans were torn between heartbreak and fury. Some mourned all over again, saying, "We grieved his death, and now we find out he was betrayed? It's too much." Others demanded justice, insisting Jay should face consequences. The emotional toll spread beyond fans and celebrities. Producers, artists, and even politicians began weighing in. One senator tweeted, "If these allegations about Michael Jackson's disappearance are true, we need answers." And still, Jay remained silent. Every hour he refused to speak only fueled the fire. Memes of him sweating under stage lights, looking over his shoulder, or dodging questions filled timelines. But the biggest twist came when a third video dropped. Michael, sitting with the same grim expression, leaned forward once more. "This isn't just about me," he said. "This is about everyone they've silenced, and I won't be quiet anymore." The words landed like a hammer. Fans cried, critics gasped, and somewhere in the shadows, JayZ's silence began to feel less like strategy and more like fear. And yet, even in all the chaos, something darker loomed. Because if Michael was truly alive, and if Jay was truly guilty of betrayal, then the question wasn't just what had happened in the past. It was what would happen next. Rumors turned into wildfire as the third video spread across every corner of the internet. Fans weren't just shocked anymore, they were mobilized. Protesters gathered outside Roc Nation's headquarters in New York City, waving posters that read, "Justice for Michael" and "Jay betrayed MJ." Clips of the crowd's chanting echoed online, fueling a movement that seemed unstoppable. The noise was so loud that even mainstream news anchors, once dismissive of the "Michael is alive" theory, began asking pointed questions live on air. Inside, the industry whispers about private meetings spilled out. Label executives were holding crisis calls deep into the night, worried about which skeletons might come rattling out if Michael decided to reveal everything. Insiders claimed lawyers were pulling old contracts, sifting through non-disclosure agreements, and preparing for the worst. One source muttered, "If Michael really talks, we'll see careers burned to ash by sunrise." For JayZ, the pressure was unbearable. Paparazzi swarmed outside his home, snapping photos of his car slipping in and out of the driveway. Neighbors claimed he barely slept, pacing the halls, phone glued to his ear. A tabloid published an anonymous quote from someone close. "He's unraveling. It's the first time I've seen him truly scared." What shook people even more was the sudden silence from Beyoncé. Usually poised to defend her family with carefully crafted statements, she had gone completely quiet. No Instagram posts, no subtle captions, not even staged paparazzi shots. Her absence fueled speculation that cracks were forming behind closed doors. Some even believed she was distancing herself from Jay's storm before it drowned them both. Then came the most haunting revelation yet, a supposed audio leak. A distorted recording surfaced online, featuring two male voices in a heated exchange. One was unmistakably Michael's soft but firm tone. The other, fans swore, was Jay's. "You promised me," Michael's voice quivered. "You said you'd keep it safe." "I had no choice," the other voice shot back, strained and urgent. "They were coming for me too. You don't understand the kind of power we're up against." The clip ended abruptly, but it sent shockwaves across the globe. If authentic, it proved not only that Michael and Jay had a fractured alliance, but also that Jay may have handed Michael's secrets to the very forces he feared. The internet detonated. Hashtags trended worldwide. Celebrities weighed in with cryptic tweets, and even old collaborators of Michael cautiously hinted at betrayal. One former producer tweeted simply, "We always knew there was more to the story." As the frenzy grew, the Jackson family could no longer remain silent. Janet appeared in a shaky live stream, her voice raw. "My brother suffered more than people will ever know. He trusted people who didn't deserve it. I can't say more right now, but believe me, the truth will come." Her words cracked the fragile dam. Fans began digging deeper, pulling old interviews and dissecting every moment Michael had hinted at enemies within his circle. Suddenly, clips of him saying things like, "Some of my friends aren't really my friends," were reborn as evidence, replayed millions of times. Jay tried to counter quietly, feeding subtle stories through friendly media outlets that painted Michael as paranoid, unstable. But the timing worked against him. Fans refused to believe anything that painted Michael as unreliable, not after the videos, not after the audio. Instead, it only made Jay look guiltier, as if he were desperately scrambling to rewrite history before the walls closed in. A dramatic twist came when a well-known journalist claimed she had been contacted by Michael directly. She refused to reveal details but hinted at a larger story being prepared for release. "If what I've seen is true," she said, "the music industry will never be the same." Panic set in. Festival organizers quietly dropped Jay from lineups. Brand deals stalled. Rumors even spread that Netflix had canceled an upcoming documentary featuring him, terrified of being associated with the brewing storm. And then